A new venue, a new frontier, and the championship picture already beginning to take shape. Welcome to Mexico City. Fresh asphalt, fresh data, and absolutely no comfort zone. Perfect conditions for chaos, courage, and the occasional brave soul leaving their breaking point somewhere near Puebla. In AM, Sebastian Day arrives with momentum in his pocket after taking an early lead with one win at Silverstone. Cool, calm, and consistent, he leads the class into a circuit where nobody has the home field advantage. In Pro, Racine Fazui is the man with a target on his back after shutting out round one. The series champion showing he is the man to beat again this season. If anyone wants the big prize, it's clear who they will need to outpace. The two class battles continue with both championships carrying the ultimate reward, a real-world radical test drive waiting for each class champion at season's end. For some reason, it's the dream. For others, it's the pressure. For everyone, it's the reason they're about to take risks. And what a place to do it. Mexico City, high altitude, long straights, tight stadium sections, and a roar from the virtual crowd that practically rattles the fiber optic cables. The lights are ready, the grid is set, and a brand new chapter in this Winter Series is moments from erupting. This is the BIS Radical Cup Canada Winter Series, and round two begins right here in Mexico City. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, or indeed good evening, and welcome here to Pit Road Productions, or indeed, if you are watching on the FEL Motorsports channel, a huge welcome to you. My name is Daniel Zippy Salmon, and joining me in the production booth is the one and only Mr. Reese Gardner, or the Southpaw Racer, as he's affectionately known, and the one and only Mr. Christian Hill, working the production controls in the background.
Indeed, Zippy. Man, what a round this is going to be. We've already seen the first round of the season completed, and some sheer dominance once again from Racine Fazui, but I can't wait to see if any surprises are thrown up here at the Mexico City Grand Prix track, also known as the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. Let's take a look at the venue that we're going to be racing at here today. 17 corners, high altitude, and absolutely no room for hesitation. The Mexico City Grand Prix circuit is a technical masterclass wrapped inside one of the longest straights in the series. The lap begins with a colossal run down the main straight where the slipstreams turn into slingshots and the braking zone for turn 1 becomes a battleground. The opening complex of turns 1, 2 and 3 over in the top right demands precision. Miss the first apex and the entire sequence unravels. Drivers then sweep through the flowing rhythm of turns 4, 5 and 6, a tight trio where balance, traction and patience are everything. From there, they dive into the quick left-right flick of turns 7 and 8, carrying speed while threading the needle between track limits and disaster. The middle sector continues with the technical turns 9, 10 and 11, a smooth, fast sequence where a perfect line pays dividends, all the way to the braking zone at turn 12. But the real theatre begins in the stadium section. Turns 13 through 17 carve their way through the Foro Sol grandstands, a slow and intricate series where cars dance on the edge of mechanical grip. One mistake here and the lap time evaporates. It's a circuit that tests every discipline, bravery on the straights, finesse in the slow speed corners, an absolute commitment through the fast sweeps. A new challenge for every driver on the grid and the perfect stage for round 2 of the Winter Series, Zippy. But this is only round 2. Let's take a look at where else we're going this season.
Absolutely, racing indeed. It's been an absolute battle. We started at Silverstone before heading over to Mexico for round 2. Round 3 will be the one and only Miss Montreal, ladies and gentlemen, as round 4 takes over to Italy for Monza. Round 5, I've got to admit, I'm going to be sneaking into a car for that one, Reese. It's going to be Watkins Glen as we head over to the US of A before round 6. Ladies and gentlemen, Donington Park, the Grand Prix layout as well. It's got that extra little section you can see there in the bottom of the picture. That's going to be a fun one, indeed a fun challenge as well. Round 7 takes us to Interlagos before the finale. Ladies and gentlemen, round 8, the BIS home track of Motorsport.
Yes, Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. Certainly looking forward to that being the final round of the season. A great schedule full of fantastic tracks that should provide incredible racing. Speaking of the racing, the race info for tonight. It is a two-race format. We are currently reaching the end of the 15-minute qualifying session before we go live for the first sprint race, which is going to be 10 laps in length tonight. And then in warm-up, we'll have a tiny little break to see what's what. And then the feature race will be on for 19 laps. Drivers will need fuel in that feature race, but there is a fixed setup, so all the drivers are driving basically the exact same car. Got to make sure that you are able to set the brake bias in the cockpit. Meanwhile, let's have a look at the points, Zippy, going out of round one.
Well, you can see there, Racine Vasui is undefeated, ladies and gentlemen. He's there with 40 points. Alex Elliso, we know he's got real-world experience, but is he going to be able to topple him off that top spot? Marshall Crocker Jr., he's last year's AM champion, and don't get me wrong, he's competing well in Pro. He's there with 24 points in third place, just a 5-point lead over Diego Zuccarelli and Jamie LeVay. Having a look at the AM championship, Sebastian Day started very strong with the Lima Racing driver Jesse Lambert doing quite well, just 5 points behind. Jacob Patar there, just another 5 points behind, and then he gets even closer. Cedric O'Hyan there, don't get me wrong, it's his car, ladies and gentlemen. He's there in P4 with Clovis Gerard, ladies and gentlemen. I had the pleasure of meeting him in real life. He's there in 5th. Absolutely fantastic stuff. As we have a look here at the teams, Lima Racing Pro absolutely dominating right now with 2040 Esports there in second. Jour de Course very close behind, tied with MTC Motorsports for third, with Lima Racing Jr. rounding out your top 5. I've got to say, fantastic stuff here, fantastic competition, and indeed, we are just getting started. We are moving on to round 2.
We are indeed, and they are lining up on the grid as we speak. Let's take a look at the lineup coming out of qualifying. Clay Morris running the fastest time, going to start on pole alongside Satellite Racing's Alex Ellis. Then we have championship leader Racine Fazui starting third alongside teammate to Ellis Christian Menezes from Satellite Racing. Ryan Otto lining up in 5th place with Cairo Enns starting in P6. Always a factor in qualifying is Cairo, with Jamie LeVay and Sebastian Day on the 4th row of the grid. Rounding out your top 10, Maxime Armand and Jacob Batter.
Let's have a look there at P11. It's going to be Diego Zuccarelli alongside Ozzy Milwain for AV Esports there in 12. As we have a look at 13, previous BIS champion, as indeed is Marshall Crocker Jr. Zachary Buchanan takes 13th with Crocker Jr. alongside in 14th. Having a look a little bit further back, Assad Likardabev, the boy wonder himself, is there in 15th with Jonathan Effia in 16th. Having a look there at 17th, it's going to be Sammy Hendricks. Ladies and gentlemen, we've rated him and even got a mugshot. He's there alongside MTC Motorsports' Andrew Hardman for 18th. Having a look at 19th, it's Cara Dudgeon, Radical Academy's finest, ladies and gentlemen, alongside Britannia iSports' very own Tyler Scaralli.
Dudgeon ran a time good enough for 6th in practice. Let's see what she can do in the race. Brady Clapham from Lima Racing starting alongside Joey Haynes on the first row outside the top 20. Our series owner Michael Broomhead starting alongside John Benbalid, also of the championship leading Lima Racing Pro team. Jesse Lambert and Cedric O'Hyan, an all Lima 13th row of the grid. Then they're followed by Matthew Crimmy and Jean-Francois Larocque. Kenton Young and Dylan Rennie will round out your top 30.
Let's have a look here. 31st is going to be Wyatt Cormier alongside, they call him Bubba, Mr. Mark Boyd himself. He's 32nd. Looking at 33rd, it's going to be Abby Shivastava. He's there alongside Robert Kobe, Pit Road Productions' finest, ladies and gentlemen. As we have a look at 35th, it's Richard Morris and Yanis Magrakis there in 36th. Have a look at 37th, it's going to be Chad Payton alongside Alex Tigliani. They call him Tag, ladies and gentlemen. He's there, real world driver. Hopefully we'll see him there on the grid today after audio issues got fixed last round. In 39th, it's going to be John Painter with Steve Sutherland rounding out your top 40.
Only 7 more cars. Ovidio Milos is going to start alongside Keenan Blades for the 22nd row of the grid. 21st, sorry. On row 22, it's Rick Boyd and Matthew Mailman. And then we have Paul Casamajor and Matt Sobol sharing the last full row of the grid. Jonathan Picazin at the very back there in 47th place. It's going to be very interesting to see what he can do from all the way back there. This is a huge, huge field that we've you've got, and I'm looking forward to seeing them tackle the first turn complex for the first time. Zippy, this track, we've already had a couple of broadcasts on it here at Pit Road Productions, and it's on my broadcast Princess approved track list. Not so much in the driving sense. I find it quite a frustrating circuit, particularly in this S's section, but it's all part of the same challenge every driver will be tackling today.
Yeah, certainly being one of the newer tracks in the iRacing service, certainly it's not one that a lot of these guys will have too much experience with. Maybe an odd race here or there. I think we covered one race here at Mexico the other day. I'm trying to remember where it was, but it did turn out to be absolutely fantastic nonetheless. But definitely going to be seeing some interesting battles here, as Racine Fazui definitely not on the top of the grid, at least it certainly doesn't appear to be by timing right now. I'm a little surprised, but don't get me wrong, it's just a start, ladies and gentlemen. Clay Morris, indeed a very potent force, as we've seen in other BIS championships, ladies and gentlemen. We've got to say that we got three Titans at the front. Christian Menezes, he's definitely, Christian Menezes getting a lot of attention as well. Ryan Otto, he definitely made a couple of spicy moves when I remember him at Silverstone, so it's going to be interesting to see just exactly how well that plays out for him. I do wonder if cooler heads will indeed prevail and make for a better result.
Let's see then as we get ready for the start. Coming out of the Forestall through the final corner, it's up to Clay Morris as to when to accelerate, and he chooses it right before the finish line here. Away we go then, the super long run to turn one here for round 2 of the Radical Canada Cup Winter Series. Let's have a look then as the satellite cars are getting a fantastic slipstream, and Alex Ellis is going to draw alongside Clay Morris into turn 1, but a huge outbraking from Cairo Ends. He's overcooked it massively in turn 1, and he's going to have to let them all go on the exit, but Ellis has moved through to the lead of the race, and there's going to be a spin in the midfield as well. A few spins for that matter. Big cloud of smoke back there, Zippy. It's carnage back there.
Oh, absolutely. I have a feeling there's a couple of drivers been involved in that. The timing standards is falling down massively. I think it's the 819 car of Abri Shivastava. I have a feeling they may have got caught up in that incident on the first lap, but right now, it's fair to say Sebastian Day is looking sad pretty. He's there in P6 and leading the AM class, but up at the front of the grid, Alex Ellis has indeed taken the lead, but can he hold on? Ladies and gentlemen, Clay Morris will be keen to try and topple him off that spot. Racine Fazui, though, where on earth has he gone now? I've lost him.
Looks like he's in third. I see him there in third.
We're good.
We are indeed. Racine doing everything right there on the first lap, but we can't say that for everybody. We had 2 separate incidents, one at turns 1, 2, and 3, or the exit of turn 3 to be exact, and then at turns 4 and 5 I saw a couple of cars spun as well. So it's been a bit of a chaotic start towards the midfield and the back of the field. It's only a 10-lap race, so there's not much time to recover from that. For the moment, Alex Ellis leads from Clay Morris, but now the slipstream games will begin again, side by side. A bit further back, Ozzy Milwane and Jacob Batta are going to be joined by Zach Buchanan 3 wide there as Ellis defends the lead from Clay Morris into the first couple of turns. Racine Fazui keeping them very close company.
Oh, indeed, it's going to be a battle of the Titans here at the front of the pack. But I've got to say, let's give a huge shout out to some of the hard chargers right now. One of them being the one and only Mr. Alex Tagliani. He's currently there in P22. As I say that, something has happened with Tagliani now. He is falling down through the field. He was in 22nd, now 27th. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not quite sure what's happening, but there is damage to that left rear side pod of the number 80 car. Giving another shout out, though, Jonathan Picazin. He's currently up 18 spots in P29, ladies and gentlemen. Fantastic drive so far, as Cairo Ends appears to be falling further through the field as well.
Yep, Cara Dudgeon making some moves meanwhile. She's made her way up to P15, has kept it nice and clean. And we'll see how much further up she can elevate herself. Only involved with Diego Zuccarelli at the moment. These two are on their own with a gap in front and behind to Sammy Hendricks and Kenton Young, respectively. Cairo Ends, meanwhile, has had a torrid first couple of laps, falling all the way down to 21st, but he's trying his best to keep himself from losing any more positions. Preemptively defensive there on Matthew Crimmy, who actually was the one who turned Alex Tagliani around at turn 2. So it's been a chaotic first half of the race here, and Cairo Ends is struggling for rear traction in the Forestall.
I gotta say, I do sympathise for him. The radical does take a little bit of time to get a little bit of heat there into the tyres. I gotta say, great work there, Christian. Loving the wing cam and loving the driver cam there, as it looks like he's rocking some Moran in his gloves, ladies and gentlemen. But what we did see just a moment ago is Enz, that 332 driver, was very deliberately trying to pin there. I believe that's John Beverly there, trying to pin him in a less desirable part of the track. Certainly something you learned at the Almeida Racing Academy. A good demonstration there as Enz now fighting with one of the BIS regulars, John Beverly there, one of the real Lima Racing drivers as well, ladies and gentlemen. He also rocks one of these beautiful cars, to which the livery, I'll say, shout out to Dakin Designs, is phenomenal. As right now, here comes Beverly. He's going to try and make a move up on the outside, ladies and gentlemen. Is he going to be able to get it done? Goes down to the braking zone. Not quite. Ends still able to hold on. But for how long? The Lumeris Nexa car trying everything that they can to keep the Lima Racing seasoned veteran right behind him.
Meanwhile, Racine Fazui has managed to get into the lead of the race, and it looks like Alex Ellis is going to have a tough time getting back past him. Big cloud of smoke through the S's. Looks like there's been a problem. I think it might be for Cedric O'Hyan. I'm not entirely sure, but this could be another big incident that we're seeing potentially unfold. It's the number 18 entry, which we see a little bit slow and recovering. Marshall Crocker Jr., meanwhile, actually looking like he's still up 2 positions from where he started. A consistent drive for last season's AM champion. We'll have to wait and see what more he can do. O'Hyan has towed back to pit lane, so one of our Lima Racing drivers, unfortunately, has not been able to make it past the first few laps. Meanwhile, here's the lead still on. Racine Fazui getting passed again by Alex Ellis, and now Clay Morris is going to round him up here. Christian Moniz trying to box him in. This is going to be interesting as up the inside, 3 wide into turn 4. Take good care, everybody, as there's contact, and Racine Fazui is around. Clay Morris making contact, and Fazui just manages to get back up to speed in time for Jacob Batter and Ozzy Milwane to arrive on the scene with Zach Buchanan in the blue machine. That was chaotic, to say the least.
Yeah, there's definitely some chaotic rhyming there from our very own Mr. Reese Gardner. Ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to buy his LP, I'm sure it's going to come out at some point. Fair play. It's good to have you, as always, buddy. But I've got to say, as much as we like Racine here, that was definitely a questionable rejoin from my part, in my honest, humble opinion. But right now, it looks like Zach Buchanan and Azad Nakanovic are going for it in the background. You can see the Teal car, the number 40 of Buchanan. He is a former champion now. Azad Nakanovic, without a doubt, has potential. Ladies and gentlemen, he is a go-kart in real life and has also been driving a spec racer Ford to some astounding success. Fair play to him, and honestly a little bit jealous. But right now, it looks like Fazui making his way up through the pack again there. As that, I believe, was a little bit of lap traffic just stuck by.
Oh, just behind. Huge contact coming out of the Foro Sol. Bata is around, and it looks like that was contact from behind. That was huge. Looks to me like it was contact from Zach Buchanan initially that did it, and trying to turn the car around was Asad Nakadambev, who just got involved through no fault of his own. Bata finally gets rolling again, losing his rear wing. This is how it happened. Just a little bit of contact on the way in, and that effectively blocked the track. Marshall Crocker Jr., I think that is, with a fantastic run around the outside. Some great avoiding action from him. But yeah, for Jacob Bata and Asad Nakadambev, that is disastrous.
Yeah, I gotta say, Marshall Crocker Jr., like, I sometimes wonder why he was in AM. Don't get me wrong, he definitely didn't breeze that competition. As you see Zachary Buchanan there pulling off and out of the way. He does have a meatball flag, ladies and gentlemen, so fair play to him, taking a little bit of a shortcut, almost having a little bit of a zebra print car, or zebra print, depending on where you're from, what kind of accent you've got. And indeed, mine's been questioned on many occasions there, as you see Cairo Enz make his way go by. But I gotta say, Crocker Jr., like, even now he's competing in pro. He is competing, ladies and gentlemen. He's currently in P9, which I gotta say, in a strength of field as strong as this, is absolutely fantastic. As right now we are checking out the view here from Clay Morris, your race leader, with not one but 2 satellite racing machines right behind him. It's Alex Ellis and indeed Kristen Moniz who are applying the pressure. A podium fight with Jamie LeVay, a former BIS regular, ladies and gentlemen. right up behind it. Was he a champion race? I don't believe so. No,
Was he? I honestly can't remember at this point, but LeVay for sure is always a factor up at the front of fields like this. He's one of the most competitive of the drivers out there. Ellis and Moniz, they are trying their best here to get the 1-2 for Satellite Racing. I think they've been threatening a double podium for their team, but have been unable to really take advantage of what's been going on around them. Into the pits comes Zach Buchanan for those repairs, and it looks like Sammy Hendricks has made his way into pit lane as well. So quite a few of our drivers are unfortunately not having the best of days today, where they'd otherwise be competitive. For the moment, question is, can anyone break up this top 4 pack? Sebastian Day isn't too far behind, and I think it's pretty impressive seeing the run that Sebastian Day's got on here. Not only did he manage to qualify in the top 10, he's moved up to 5th.
Yeah, fair play to him right now. The biggest thing for him is he does indeed have 5 places ahead of Jesse Lambert. Cairo Enzo currently in P3 for M-Class, despite the fact his race has not gone to plan. He's doing an outstanding job there trying to get a podium here in M-Class. Don't get me wrong, I sound like such a douche. I do apologise, ladies and gentlemen, but I managed to get a couple of podiums in the M-Class myself recently. Don't know how I did it. Didn't realise I had done it, but fair play. Keep going, Cairo. Certainly would love to see you have a good result there, but definitely got some good reaction happening here at the front, and I do believe Sebastian Day is indeed starting to pull these guys in. I think Racine Fazui is going to get into the mix very shortly as well.
Yes, yeah, not too far behind. This is the view on board from Moniz. 3rd place at the moment, and Clay Morris has managed to eke out a lead of a few tenths of a second, but all it takes is running wide at turn 1 like he just did, and they'll be right back on him again. They take so much of the curb there through turns 1, 2 and 3. It's a miracle that they stay stable. You got to keep an eye out for the curbs around here as well. In iRacing, officially the track limits are the curbs. As long as you have 2 tires on the red and white, you are good. In real life, it is a bit more complicated. You'll notice a blue line behind the white line on the exits of some turns. That's where Formula One defines their track limits. Let's keep an eye out through these S's as well. A very difficult section. You can carry a lot of speed through these rights and lefts, but you got to take a bit less speed than you anticipate through that left-hander, because it's setting up for these 2 turns here, which define the run into the stadium. Looks like all of our top 3 have nailed it for the moment. Meanwhile, Sebastian Day has been passed by Racine Fazui, and Racine now a few seconds behind these 3 drivers, but looks like we're keeping an eye out for 2 main packs to be fighting for the lead of this race.
Yeah, Sonny, there is a lot of good racing going on. I was just looking through to see who the hard charge was, and right now it is still the number 93 car, Jonathan Kazan. Fair play to him now, but I've got to say, let's give a shout out to Matthew Mailman as well. Just a moment ago, he's up 16 positions. That's definitely got to be his biggest amount of laps. Biggest amount of positions he's ever charged here at BIS. I'm hoping he can keep things going together, because fair play to him. As Cara Dudgeon, oh my gosh, that's not what I wanted to read. I see that she may have had an incident.
Oh dear, that's not ideal. Starting inside the top 20 and trying her best to keep herself in contention there. Mailman, we're seeing, trying his best to make his way cleanly into the stadium section. And I'm going to keep an eye out for whatever happened to Dudgeon as well. It looks like a spin at the S's, and it was actually by running into the back of Alex Tagliani, who has certainly had a rough introduction to BIS here in the virtual racing scene. Former Indy 500 pole sitter is Alex Tagliani, but it turns out everyone's going to treat you the same regardless of your real life achievements.
Oh, definitely. Certainly, you know, when you get to race some of your heroes in the sim, you do at times get a little bit shell-shocked. We're going to put that 4 on hold there, as there's a 520 car, Maxime Armand, making his way past Mailman. But you know what, fair play. Mailman, he's generally pretty understanding of where his pace is, where his comfort level is, and fair play to him. You know what? A good, tidy race, I think, would be a good result. But getting back to the point, though, sometimes, you know, racing your heroes and stuff like that, like, I'm not a big NASCAR guy. I'll be the first to admit, I don't know you know, my head from my tail in NASCAR, but I did have the pleasure once of actually racing Dale Earnhardt Jr. It was Skippy's at Spa, which, all right, I get it. It's not what he's famous for, but we had a great wheel-to-wheel battle, and honestly, I was a little bit shell-shocked of it, and it was phenomenal. But fair play to him. It's great to see Tag here in the sim, albeit can a little bit of damage there. That's Zachary Buchanan, who I do believe is now out the pits with a repaired car. And don't get me wrong, he is a lap down, but he's got pace, ladies and gentlemen, so fair play to him. He is out and about. But I did have the pleasure of meeting Tag. He came down to Atlantic Motorsport Park with the Super Production Challenge, and I got the pleasure of meeting him and his Spark Colin, who honestly was an absolutely sound guy as well. But he ended up driving one of our latest cars, Matthew Sadakis Trivet. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're familiar with, I think it's CSGO or CSS, he is a commentator for that, or at least he previously was in another live. Now he's a mountain biker by trade, but yeah, Trivet said, just, you know what, have a go at my BMW, his E46 M3, Tag got in it, started at the back, and oh my gosh, what a race it was. Phenomenal action against call action here at Atlantic Motorsport Park.
Indeed, fantastic stuff. Well, Tagliani currently all on his own in 20th place. It's been a mammoth run up through the field, actually. He's cut his overall position in half, moving up 20 positions from where he started, and he should end up having a good run towards the end if he can keep this together. There is only one lap to go, and the white flag is out for Clay Morris, whose lead has extended to nearly 2 seconds. Alex Ellis, unfortunately, had a poor run through the S's on the previous lap, and that managed to hold up himself, his teammate, and Jamie LeVay. It looks like Christian Muniz is going to go for it on his teammate there into turn 1 as Morris just goes into turn 1 all by himself. But can Jamie LeVay get onto the podium is the question. This is going to be a fun battle towards the end of the final lap as Ryan Otto takes the fastest lap of the race. That must have been a mammoth slipstream that he got on that one, running down in P11. Could have been a potential top 5 for him. Jean-Francois Larocque, meanwhile, the next driver to jump into the pits, quite a few of them have unfortunately had to make runs through pit lane. But this battle is on as there's a spin behind. Who is that? That's Richard Morris, who's unfortunately gone around, and Andrew Hardman involved as well. But we'll keep our eyes on our leaders as they make their way around. A little bit of a wiggle for Alex Ellis, and Jamie LeVay might see the opportunity here. Defensive coming into the stadium for Alex Ellis. It's an easy corner to defend at. Just park the car on the apex and away you go. It's a bit of a narrow line through, but Racine Fazui could sniff a chance here at a top 4, maybe even a podium as he gets up the inside. Not quite, not able to do it. Up the front, oh, there goes Racine Fazui up the inside. He gets 4th place, but at the front, Clay Morris, what a drive. He is going to break what we thought was going to be a stranglehold for Racine Fazui and take the win.
I've got to say that was an absolutely fantastic battle there between LeVay and Fazui at the very end of that race. Absolutely phenomenal. I've got to give a huge shout out. Sebastian Day, gets P6. Attaboy, can't argue with that. Marshall Crocker Jr. as well, newly promoted to pro, ladies and gentlemen. He gets P8. But as we have a look there, it looks like Cairo ends just getting into a little bit of a tangle, a little bit of battle there. As no sense happening back here for P12, ladies and gentlemen. All sorts happening back at P12, P13 right now. They cross the line.
Yeah, that's Robert Covey, who's battling with JF Larocque there. Larocque fresh out of pit lane. So we shall see who manages to get the position out of these two. Up the inside for Robert Covey. Certainly not afraid to get the elbows out. Can he avoid the wall? He certainly can. And, well, manages to give way to JF Larocque there. Actually, hang on a minute. That's Covey ahead of Larocque. My apologies. I completely swapped the cars. Meanwhile, Maxime Armand started in the top 10, but now trying his best to gain a couple of positions here at the end. Tyler Scarali gets back up the inside of him there, as that's Matthew Mailman ahead of them. This is the last close battle on track for 29th place, and Mailman is going to win it. Scarali and Armand, very close quarters across the line. Man, what a first race, Zippy. That was pretty crazy.
I got to admit, I'm pretty proud of Mailman. That's without a doubt his best result yet. So fair play to the lad. Good stuff. Good to see you having a really comfortable, really successful drive here. Let's take a quick look, though, at the results.
Indeed. So Clay Morris starting from pole and winning. but he certainly had to work for it. With the top 10 invert for race 2, he's got a 10th place start. Christian Muniz and Alex Ellis will round out your podium, and then Jamie LeVay and Racine Fazouzi round out your top 5. Sebastian Day is your AM class winner, with Austin Milwain, Marshall Crocker Jr., Diego Zuccarelli, and Ryan Otto rounding out the top 10. Flip them, and that is your top 10 starting order for race 2, Zippy.
As you have a look there, P11 was Cairo Ends with Jonathan Effia in P12. John Benvelit, he took 13th with Brady Clapham, real world racing driver as well, ladies and gentlemen. He's there in 14th with Jesse Lambert, in 15th, a little bit of an incident near the end. Kenton Young took 16th with, they call him Bubba himself, Mr. Mark Boyd there in 17th. Matthew Crimmy took 18th with Tag, dropping back a little bit sadly. He's there in P19 with Cara Dudgeon. Fair play to her. That's something that, you know, how often do you... She's just young, bless her. She's there fighting with a real world Indy pole sitter. That's phenomenal. Rounds out your top 20.
In 21st position, Sammy Hendricks, unfortunately falling down a few places. Broomhead gaining 1 spot to finish 22nd. Robert Covey in that battle with Jean-Francois Larocque at the end, managing to gain quite a few positions. Keenan Blades and Jonathan Becazen, they both started outside the top 40 and finished 25th and 26th. Joey Haynes would have been looking for something a little bit better from that one in 27th, with Mailman, Scarali, and Armand rounding out your top 30. Especially a shame for Maxime. He started in the top 10.
Have a look there, P31, Asana Cardovev sadly getting caught in an incident early on, as did Jacob Batar. He's there in 32nd with Chad Payton in 33rd. Ovidio Milas, he was there in 34th with Rick Boyd in 35th. Andrew Hardman sadly falling through the order, as did Cedric O'Hyan in 36th and 37th. Richard Morris in 38th with Matt Sobol in 39th. And again, Zach Buchanan, I gotta say, fair play, buddy, 40 for the number 40.
Yes, but certainly far from where he wanted to finish. Abby Shrivastava and Yanis Maragakis finish a lap down with him. John Painter and Paul Casamager 3 laps down, and then Stephen Sutherland, Wyatt Cormier, and Dylan Rennie, unfortunately, having terrible races there. I think all caught up in the chaos of the first few corners. But, well, we had varying fortunes throughout the field, but for Clay Morris, it was a fantastic move to keep the lead that he started with. Let's have a look at our move of the race for race number 1. It's going to be a fun time for all. I've got to wonder how the move was indeed made, and it was round in the S's section where he tried to line that up as he was chasing down the number 50 of Alex Ellis. There was a great battle between these two in the opening laps.
You can see here, there is the Clay Morris in the 48, and there right ahead of him is one of the satellite racing cars. You can see there Morris applying all of the pressure. Number 50 there, I believe that is of Alex Ellis, as it is indeed. Just look at how far back he is now. That's got to be at least 2 car lengths as he's there in the slipstream, running over the curb. He's pretty much in the middle of this satellite racing sandwich there, as what an absolute move on the inside. Fair play, gets to the apex, shuts the door, and I got to say, fantastic choice there by Christian. It is indeed a phenomenal move of the race.
Yeah, that was quite brave, making the move in the stadium section. Don't often see much passing through there, but that was how it ended up getting done. He still had to defend the move for a few moments, but all it took was a couple of mistakes from Ellis, and it ended up extending that lead for him, Zippy. So looks like that's going to be it then for the first portion of the night. Now we go for the 19-lap race 2, as yes, indeed, we know where your allegiances lie.
Well, fair play. What can I say? Cedric sent me out a Lima Racing care package, and honestly, it really did surprise me. There was a lot in there that I did not realise was going to head over. I've actually got a Lima Racing t-shirt. I'm wearing my Pit Road Productions one right now. I've got to try and represent both, but absolutely phenomenal battling so far. And I got to admit, Mexico, I've not had the pleasure of driving the circuit yet, but what a pure broadcasting point of view track it is. I mean, love the way that these guys ride the curbs. A little bit of it did remind me of Montreal very slightly, where they had that long straightaway a little bit to the left there before they go into the stadium section there, but absolutely phenomenal. And fair play. I mean, we've got a lot of big names in this, and usually at this point of the show we would say, you know what, if you want to get involved, you know, here's a QR code. But ladies and gentlemen, Radicals is full. Like, we have no space for you to race with us. What we can do though is we can tell you about the BIS F1600 Championship. If you want to race in that, That also has a drive for both a Pro and an AM, and we're only 1 round in, actually 2 rounds in. We are 2 rounds in, so if you want to take part in that, by all means, scan a QR code that Christian will put up in just a few short moments. Get involved in that, and indeed, you will feature on a Hero Productions broadcast, courtesy of myself, Reese Garner, and Mr. Christian Hill.
Indeed, you may very well finish well amongst some incredible drivers. The grid is set for the second race of the night, and we should go through it at the moment. That top 10 invert was very significant for Ryan Otto, who starts on pole alongside Diego Zuccarelli. Marshall Crocker going to start in 3rd place alongside Ozzy Milwain. Then Sebastian Day starts in 5th place alongside Racine Fazui, who surprisingly wasn't much of a factor for the lead battle in the end. Jamie LeVay and Alex Ellis 7th and 8th. Then we have our top 2 from race 1, Christian Moniz and Clay Morris. From there on, Zippy, it's where they finished in race 1.
And as we can see here, Cara Ains will be there in P11, Jonathan Effia in P12. John Bevelid alongside another Lima Racing driver, ladies and gentlemen. Brady Clapham will be there in 14th, making their way a little bit further back. Jesse Lambert, Lima Racing everywhere, ladies and gentlemen, alongside Kenton Young. That's 15th and 16th. Make our way back to 17th. They call him Bubba. It's Mark Boyd alongside Matthew Crimmy for Rat Force Racing in 18th. Alex Tagliani, he's going to be looking to move up through the grid there. He's in 19th with Cara Dudgeon, the Radical Academy superstar, closing out your top 20.
Sammy Hendricks will be wanting to make good on his potential pace, 17th to 21st in race 1. Michael Broomhead alongside him. Robert Covey managing to gain bulk positions in race 1, has Jean-Francois Larocque alongside him, with Keenan Blades and Jonathan Pekazin wanting to continue their momentous rise through the field, starting from 42nd and 47th respectively in race 1. Joey Haynes needs to make a recovery from 27th, starting alongside Matthew Mailman, who finished 28th out of 44th position, and Tyler Scaralli and Maxime Armand round out your top 30.
As we look there, P31 Assad Nakanabev, he's not going to stay there long, ladies and gentlemen, alongside Jacob Patar in 32nd. As we have a look at 33rd, it's Chad Payton with Ovidio Milos in 34th. Moving back a little further, ladies and gentlemen, in 35th, it's Rick Boyd alongside Andrew Hartman in 36th. As we have a look at P37, it's Cedric O'Hine, the Lima Racing legend, alongside Richard Morris in 38th. And closing out the end of the top 40, it's Matt Sobel in 39th with Zach Buchanan, the 40 on the 40, closing out your top 40 indeed.
Abby Shrivastava in 41st place with Yanis Maragakis alongside John Painter and Paul Casamager on the 22nd row. Then Stephen Sutherland, Wyatt Cormier and Dylan Rennie rounding out your field. And there was already some drama on the formation lap here, a bit of a checkup towards the back of the field. Paul Casamager got into the back of Maragakis, and Abby Shrivastava got some rear-end contact from John Painter, so it's not entirely organised at the back of the field at the moment, but the front of our field getting ready for the start now, almost into the stadium section.
Absolutely fantastic stuff. I've got to admit here, Ryan Otto, we've seen him be quite aggressive through some of the races so far, but what's he going to be able to do at the front of the pack? He's going to have to go defensive with Zuccarelli. Is going to be there. Marshall Crocker Jr., I'd say he's a good solid safe bet. His evasion technique, honestly, you know, you almost think he should play American football or something, ladies and gentlemen, because nobody is going to catch that guy. He's not necessarily going to do it on pace, but certainly he is going to be hard to, you know, if he's trying to take the guy out. His accident avoidance is absolutely on point. Ozzy Milwain, now, he's been a BIS podium victor before. This is a good opportunity for him, but Racine Fazui, he's only in P6, at least for not so long, but certainly Mexico not being potentially on his Princess-approved track list.
Well, here it comes then. An early start from Ryan Otto, already flat out by the time they get out of the last corner. And we are away for race 2. 19 laps with a pit stop required for fuel. And it's going to be all about getting track position in these early stages. Zuccarelli under attack from Milwain and Fazui. Does Racine make it 3 wide on the way into turn 1? Not quite, as they make their way down into the first corner. 2 wide in most of the field there, as Crocker sent off by Zuccarelli there, getting a bit squeezed at the exit of turn 2. That'll be a slowdown for last season's AMP champion, and it's a very inconvenient spot to have that happen, but looks like all up the start was a bit cleaner than what we saw in race 1.
Yeah, certainly cold tyres can definitely catch a driver out, especially in the radicals. And it's fair to say the SR10 is no slouch. It's got a lot of power. The SR3 definitely a little bit more user-friendly, I would say, at the best of times. Definitely probably about half the power, rough estimate, maybe even a little bit less, ladies and gentlemen. But the aerodynamics on the radical is absolutely phenomenal. And not only that, developed and made in Peterborough, UK, ladies and gentlemen, just 1 hour from where I aged. I'd say grew up, but let's be real, I never really took part in that. But right now, Ryan Otto has managed to pull away an 0.8 of a second lead. It looks like something's happening with Richard Morris, I believe, and maybe even Mark Boyd as well. Mark Boyd's dropped back 5 positions, so movement happening throughout there. Oh dear, something happened with Broomhead as well. Broomhead and Tagliani, all sorts happening at the start of this race.
Yes, the battle is still side by side though between Milwain and Fazui, and Racim is going to lead the way out of the final corner. We see Alex Ellis try to join him here, running alongside. Doesn't look like there's going to be much in the way of slipstream for Alex Ellis though, and Milwain is going to drag him along in the side draft. Are they going to try and pincer move our championship leader and reigning champion? Not quite. They get up the inside of him. And into turn 1, they are ultimately 3 wide. There goes. The Lima Racing car is around for Aussie Milwain. That 3 wide contact ending the only way it could at that part of the track.
Yeah, definitely. Sometimes it is indeed risk versus reward. And to quote my iRacing mentor, I had the pleasure of speaking to him this week, low risk, high reward. But sometimes if you want championship wins, you're going to have to push it that little bit harder. As right now, Cairo ends looking to get into a battle. He's trying to fight there for P10. With Marshall Crocker Jr. Massive huge incident ahead. That, I believe, was John Beverly, ladies and gentlemen. And, yes. Oh my gosh, he's managed to keep the car going. Fair play to you.
Oh, okay. That could have been disastrous, but it was merely a bit of a heart attack moment. So through the S's, they'll try to sort themselves out. This is a very difficult part of the circuit to follow cars through. You want to try and push, you want to try and gain an advantage in corner speed, but it's so easy to throw yourself off the rhythm in this section, and Hendricks will move his way past. Cairo ends there, and Jonathan Etier will be very much in the fight as well. That's Matthew Crimmy going off in a big way on the entry to the stadium. Got to wonder if that was an outbreak, basically outbreaking himself, or if there was something more to that incident. But it looks like our lead pack is chasing down Ryan Otto at the moment. It's about 1.3 seconds, the race lead, but we'll see the likes of LeVay and company try to make themselves a part of all of that as well. LeVay moves past Crocker on the way into turn 1.
Yeah, good bit of curb there by the 444 of Jamie LeVay, but I've got to say Ryan Otto has managed to pull away. He was 0.8 of a second before. He's almost got that gap up to 1.3 seconds, and Alex Ellis there, he's got Racine Fazui to deal with. So honestly, what Otto is going to be hoping for is that these two guys get busy. As I say that, Ellis takes about 0.2 of a second off him at the start, but battles happening throughout. Ladies and gentlemen, as I have a quick flick through here, it looks like Zachary Buchanan is currently the hard charger. He's up 18 spots. He started P40 and it's made his way up to P23. As I say that, I see big movement happening throughout the field. Broomhead, I believe, is having a couple of connection issues there. He's showing his up 6 positions. Asad Nikanabeb as well, though. He's managed to make his way up. The young lad has indeed made his way up to P15, up 16 spots from the start.
Yeah, and he did most of that on lap 1. I think that would be a contender for our move of the race if it doesn't end up being one of our leaders. So we'll put a bookmark in Asad Nikadembev's first lap, see exactly what happened for him. But regardless, let's keep our eyes peeled here on Buchanan as he is caught up behind a couple of other cars here. Cairo Inns and Jacob Batter on the way into the stadium section. JF Larocque a little bit slow behind. He was the car that was a little bit offline there. And now, oh dear, that's Robert Covey that's gone around in the 4.0 Sol, rejoins the racetrack, and well, he's going to have another fight to do here. Cairo Ends making his way into pit lane, and I wonder if that's for damage or if it's just a scheduled stop for him trying to get out of the traffic early.
Yeah, honestly, knowing Kyra, I think if he could get some clean air, that would definitely be beneficial for him. He's a quick in and out there, but it depends on who he ends up being around. Don't get me wrong, if he ends up with traffic of a slower pace, that can be absolutely detrimental to his race there, as it's good to see he's back out. But I do apologise, Jake Enns, we've normally given you a shout out by now. Pit Road Productions #1 fan, he is there in the chat again, and I thought you Brits knew better. Tea is a religion. No, well, it is indeed right, but it works better if you do not indeed spill it on yourself, as my current broadcasting team had the pleasure of experiencing, and thankfully the camera is above chest height.
Yes, indeed. Well, we'll keep our eyes on Alex Ellis here to see what he can do to move past Racine Fazui. For the moment, it's looking like a reasonable battle between these two. They haven't made up much time on Ryan Otto as things stand. The gap for the race lead continuing to hover at about 1.7 seconds at the moment. Otto making good on his potential pace from race 1. Remember, he qualified in 5th, did our current race leader, for the first race of the evening. Unfortunately wasn't able to get there, but now that he's out in the lead, he's showing what he can do.
Oh, as you say, that's Sebastian Day there going to try and make a move on Diego Zuccarelli, and absolutely slam dunks it, flies past the fellow Red Radical there. And fair play, Diego Zuccarelli. I know he's been in Radicals for a long while, not just BIS, but I don't know of anything else that the guy drives in the sim. He is indeed a very potent force to deal with there. So honestly, I'd love it if I could pass Zuccarelli. He's quick, ladies and gentlemen. That is indeed why he's in the top 7 right now. But honestly, we started with a 47 car grid. Absolutely incredible turnout again for BIS round 2 here at Mexico.
Yes, and we have 45 of those cars still running at the moment. Unfortunately, we've lost Matt Sobol and Mark Boyd, who have been unable to make it beyond the first couple of laps. Oh dear. A little bit of traffic drama for our race leader. Looks like a bit of contact on the back of Richard Morris through the S's for Ryan Otto. That may have damaged his front bodywork some.
Yeah, that is definitely not what he had wanted to have happen, and definitely already that lead has fallen down. It was 1.7 seconds, it's now under a second, it's down to about a second, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, Otto is indeed potentially going to be shocked there as the 153 car, the bright yellow one. I got to admit, I'm sure he was in different colours last time round, but right now, he's going to see the pressure right behind him. He had got that draft broken, and he's going to need to pull out something extra spectacular there if he wants to continue to get ahead.
Yes, indeed. Problem for Broomhead and Dudgeon, meanwhile. They've just fallen down a few places. Not entirely sure what happened there, but Broomhead has gone for the pits, and it would appear missing all the bodywork is Cara Dudgeon. Oh, I have never seen a Radical with that much damage before. Fortunately, a fast repair in hand for our Radical Academy driver, one of a few women who compete in this series. But yeah, I'm curious to see exactly what happened to Dudgeon and Broomhead there, because it looked like they were involved in a bit of a scramble in the final sector. We'll mark it down for a potential future replay, but there's plenty of action going on track at the moment, which is taking up our producer's attention and our attention as well. The battle for the lead has really decreased at the moment. Ryan Otto now under big pressure from Racine Fazui as he goes for the move into the stadium section, and Racine Fazui is through. Can Alex Ellis follow him is the question. And Otto certainly is being affected by that damage he picked up from contact with traffic on the previous lap. Is he going to respond by going for pit lane, or does he think he still has the pace to compete? This car is a bit aerodynamically sensitive with that bodywork. Any damage to the front is going to increase drag, so no surprise to see that Ryan Otto is sticking in the slipstream of Racine Fazui. He's not going for the move, though. Alex Ellis might find his way round the outside of the first turn here as Otto finds room to the inside of Fazui, and Racine is going to back out of that one and allow him to continue, but Ellis is through to the lead.
Absolutely fantastic drive there by Alex Ellis. And indeed, if I was Ryan Otto, I'd be staying with these guys as much as possible. Keep in mind, Clay Morris in the 48 is right behind, as is the other satellite racing car of Christian Moniz. If he can get up there, it can be a five-way fight for the lead here, as Racine Fazui applying the pressure. But right now, in the lead of the race, it's 2 wide, it's 3 wide, it's Ellis, Fazui, and indeed Otto all fighting out for the top spot there on the podium.
Yeah, that was a great over-under from Racine Fazui. If the straight was a little bit longer, he would have been able to go for the move. But for the moment, sits in second place when they come into the S's. This is why I love this track for broadcast races. It really offers up so many opportunities for drivers to take advantage when they've been put by the wayside ever so briefly. And it's turning into a bit of a 5-way fight for the race lead. Clay Morris and Christian Moniz are not too far behind. In fact, now they are right on the back here as they got a fantastic run on Ryan Otto there. Who's going to come away with the win here? I genuinely don't know.
I got a feeling if it was me, don't get me wrong, Alex is doing well. He's starting to pull away. He's got about 0.4 of a second gap right now, but can he pull away enough to break the draft? This could be a huge opportunity to save fuel. If you're in the lead pack, you are definitely in for a chance at making a fine podium contention. But right now, Ryan Otto is indeed fighting back as he's going up with the BIS, former BIS Radical Cup champion, Racine Fazui there, as he's going there for P2, going side by side.
Yeah, stuck on the outside for turn 2, carries the speed, little bit of contact there side by side. That's going to give Ellis the lead of his life there, and if he can hold on to that, it would be great for him. But now turns into a 4-way fight for second place. Fazui a bit later on the brakes than Ryan Otto, but Otto tries to cover him off. Fazui gets up the inside at the apex of turn 5, sorry, and the contact continues. It's bumper cars out there for P2.
Well, elbows out, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, Ryan Otto is not too thrilled with that, giving it the old flash of the headlights there, as indeed Clay Morris thought about making a move, and thought better of it. Is right behind him. It's Christian Moniz, and saying that in the background, Sebastian Day in that number 310. The gap was 3 seconds, and he's bringing Jamie LeVay with him as well. We could have a 7-way fight there as Ryan Otto goes wide. Is he going to pick up a slowdown there? And certainly we're going to have to keep an eye on it. Clay Morris, though, bringing up with Christian Moniz. Are we going to see Otto start falling back off the podium right now? Alex Ellis, however, has pulled away a 1.4, 1.5, 1.6 second gap, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely running away. This is the opportunity he's been looking for, but you have got to wonder, could we see some team strategy involved as well? As I believe there's a little bit of lap traffic going to get in the mix as well.
And Racine Fazui responds to that traffic by coming into the pits. He was going to lose time there behind that traffic, which specifically is Ovidiu Milos, who's had a big run through the field thus far, gaining a lot of places, but ultimately still outside the top 30 as the move is on for Clay Morris and Christian Moniz. Gently does it on your way out of the final section of the first complex of corners, and we'll ride on board here with Christian Moniz, get a driver's eye view of all of this. Puff of smoke up ahead. Looks like there was an incident ahead of these guys, but it seems to have cleared by the time they get there. Look at how responsive the car is when you get the entry right for these corners. It's very easy to get understeer at this circuit. It's a relatively new surface, very smooth, and quite low grip at times, but you play your cards right and you can make huge gains.
Yeah, certainly there's a lot of strategies. We got a car pulled off at the side there. Not quite sure who decided to park up, but fair play to him to getting out the way of the race leaders. Right now, Alex Ellis has absolutely slingshotted away. 3 seconds ahead, ladies and gentlemen. It's fair to say that these guys battling has opened up a colossal opportunity there for the driver of the number 50 car, the satellite racing machine. As right now, Ryan Otto looking to try and hold on. Colin Giannateus there saying he does indeed have a lot of damage on the front of that car. I got to admit, if I was Ryan Otto, I'd be trying to bring it down pit road as soon as possible, as that is exactly what Clay Morris has done, and Christian Moniz follows in suit, as does Jamie LeVay as well.
All right, so it's looking like Ryan Otto might be the one at the disadvantage here. Meanwhile, this is John Benvalid, who's a bit further down the field, 13th place. Got Ozzy Milwain up ahead of him, and Kenton Young and Jacob Batter behind, who will go for the lane. Plenty of drivers in the lane at the moment. Our top 4 competitors, as well as Assad Nikardembev, Milwain Batter, Larocque, Maxime Armand is in as well. A flurry of activity on pit lane, and we can't forget that Racine Fazui has already come into the lane a lap previous, and he has managed to move way past all of these guys back up into P11.
It certainly definitely is it's challenging to get pit strategy right. There's, I can see Cairo Ends lurking in the background. If not, it will be Sammy Hendricks. Actually, Sammy Hendricks, fair play, he's up in P10. Attaboy, good job there. But quite a few drivers haven't been down pit road. Fazine Fazui currently in that top 10 position. I see Zachary Buchanan here going into a little bit of a battle there, side by side with indeed Sammy Hendricks. Certainly good to see him making his way to pit road productions. Indeed, certainly we've seen him and the Almeida Racing Academy, one of the previous novice coaches, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, he's not only got Buchanan to deal with, he's got Racine Fazui right behind him as well. As right now, wow, that's incredible. Zachary Buchanan, 32 positions gained, ladies and gentlemen. That is an absolutely stonking charge for the field. You could call it a stampede.
Certainly could, but keep in mind Buchanan has to still come into pit lane, as it looks like there's a response there from our leaders. Ellis and Otto have made their way in. Hendricks ultimately having to make way for Racine Fazui, but if there's one thing I know about Sammy Hendricks from the broadcast we've had in the past where we've watched him, he is always willing to stick his nose in and go for the move. Haven't seen much of him in Radical though, as he's going to make his way into pit lane. Let's see then who gets the best run here, as Racine Fazui is flat out down the front straight. Alex Ellis is out ahead of Ryan Otto there, and Racine Fazui is going to move through into second. That's spaced out our front battle some. Fazui jets off into the distance and tries to make up some time on Alex Ellis, who is our new full leader of the race, under not much pressure at all, but knowing Racine, he is going to drive the wheels off that car to catch him up.
Yeah, he's definitely working hard. You can see they're getting very aggressive with the curb, and right behind him is Ryan Otto. It's about a 1.4 second gap between Ellis and indeed between Fazui and Otto. All of these guys spaced pretty evenly, with Clay Morris about 1.1 seconds back as well. Christian Moniz, he's about 0.5 of a second though. He's going to be getting a really good slipstream there, but saying that, pit strategy will come into play, ladies and gentlemen, as indeed having a quick look, all of the drivers I can see have pit right now. Cara Judging currently just going down pit road. Further back, Paul Casamajor, he's yet to make a pit stop as well, but it looks like the pit strategy has indeed leveled out, and we should be seeing seeing exactly how this is going to play out in the closing stage of this race. We've got 8 laps to go.
Indeed we have. It looks like, yeah, the field is basically cleansed at this point. Only car left to pit, Paul Casamajor, and as I say that, he comes into pit lane. So there we go. Now it is a sprint to the end, as we're hearing Sammy Hendricks has picked up a black flag somewhere. I'm not sure if that was for not clearing a slowdown in time or exceeding the incident limit. You get a penalty at 20 incidents. So, but the off tracks are very hard, very easy to pick up. Sorry, around this place. But we'll keep our eyes peeled here on this lead battle.
Very much so. Certainly myself, good fan of my off track, is saying that, but Sammy Hendricks has actually picked up a black flag. That is definitely not what he had in mind, ladies and gentlemen. Racine Fazui currently there, and the gap's staying actually pretty consistent there. The leader's not moving around too much, as that black flag certainly costing Sammy Hendricks right now, as John Benvalid and indeed Jeff Larocque made his way by, as has Maxime Armand, Cedric O'Hyan. I have a feeling he's going to pick up a drive-through penalty, as yep, he is going down pit lane. Definitely unfortunate there for Sammy Hendricks. He hasn't even got to bump draft or anything yet, poor fella, but right now, battles happening throughout the field. Actually, looks like we've got one happening a little bit further back as well. Alex Tagliani getting into a battle there for P34 with Chad Payton, but let's stay with this lead pack, ladies and gentlemen, as we've seen here with Racine Fazui not yet able to close down the gap on Alex Ellis. It's good to see here that he's having to work that a little bit harder if he wants to take a race win.
Yeah, indeed. Need to keep an eye on the times here. Racine Fazui managing a fastest lap, about 0.3 faster than what Alex Ellis could manage thus far. the fight will continue. Sammy Hendricks, if anyone's curious, went through pit lane and managed to get out cleanly after serving his black flag there. Let's keep an eye on the lap times here. Fresh out of the pits for Alex Ellis, it is a 1:37.2. Compare that to a 1:36.8 for Fuzui. That is crazy. Up ahead of the leaders, battling still going on here. Robert Covey battling with Wyatt Cormier for the last position in the top 30.
Yeah, certainly Wyatt Cormier has brought an absolutely massive cheerleading squad. I mean, just trying to catch up. There must be at least 3 or 4 people in there. A lot of them named Wyatt of some variety. We've had Wyatt's Love, Wyatt's, I'm not saying that one, but you get the idea. It's colourful, it's fun, and I'm all for it, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly have a little bit of banter there, and that's on the FEL Motorsports channel. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't done it already, hit the subscribe button both on FEL Motorsports and indeed Pit Road Productions. But right now, let's focus here on the driver at the number 72. Ladies and gentlemen, that's his race number, not necessarily his age or indeed the amount of inches of length of his beard. The one I know is Robert Covey there, putting in a very respectable stint. He's there in P31, trying to play a bit of pressure there to one of the crowd favourites right now, Wyatt Cormier, and certainly fair play to him. He's having to work hard in this radical.
I'm glad you said beard there. I thought that sentence was going in a very different direction. Robert Covey will make some room around the outside here for lapping traffic. Our leaders are actually coming through on these guys. Oh, that's contact there with the Lima car for Robert Covey. That's Brady Clapham, who's running in 32nd place, actually, in a slightly worse position than Covey as things stand. And it looks like actually that was for position. Abby Shrivastava behind them goes into pit lane. But our leaders are really coming up on them now. Alex Ellis is going to be next on the scene. Meanwhile, check in with Assad Nikardenbev, who had a rough race 1, but 19 positions up. And one thing you can count on with this young bloke is he can always make his way up through a field.
Yeah, his racecraft is absolutely on point. I mean, there's a good reason he's driving in karts and indeed driving in a spec racer Ford. Ladies and gentlemen, fair play. We wish him the best of luck at that. As you can see him there in slipstream, he understands how this works, ladies and gentlemen. As he's trying to make a move there on the number 60 car, is he going to be able to get it done? He's certainly giving it a good run against Jesse Lambert. This is pro versus am. Don't get me wrong. You know, he's a young lad, but he's the pro class, and ladies and gentlemen, for a damn good reason. This kid is quick as he's absolutely applying pressure, and I've got to say fair play to him as well. Up there with the sponsor game, he always recognises and thanks his sponsors and indeed thanks his parents. Certainly does not take it for granted there. Has a little bit of a shot there, Assad. A little bit of a wiggle there, showing a little bit of aggression is indeed in the number 230 car as he's looking to try and get back ahead of Jesse Lambert.
Yeah, indeed. Lambert moving around a bit before the braking zone, maybe threw Assad off ever so slightly, but he's had plenty of experience in rough situations in the sim and in the real world. We're honoured at BIS Sim Leagues to have many real-life racing drivers competing with us, and it's fantastic to see them all come out here and have a red-hot go of things. Assad himself races in karts mainly and has had a bit of success there. Also recently made the move to sports cars with a recent drive in Spec Racer Ford. So we're always looking to see where his real life career goes. For the moment, his sim career is nice and stable at the moment. He has got a reputation for himself and he is making good on that. Slipstream taken out of the final corner. Meanwhile, I suppose we should keep an eye out on the battle for the lead here. Alex Ellis just disappearing out of the frame there, but Ryan Otto coming back on Racine Fuzui as they make their way through lap traffic. That is Wyatt Cormier stuck in the middle there in the blue car, and not too far behind Christian Muniz and Clay Morris. Can anyone catch Alex Ellis out of this one? They're only going to have 4 laps to go when they cross the line.
Honestly, the more pressure that the 153 can indeed apply to the back of Racine Fuzui is going to be the better news for Alex Ellis. And certainly, I think I may have called him out a little bit there. And certainly, he has indeed delivered on the challenge. Racine Fuzui, we got lots of love, and we got a lot of love for all of these drivers here at Pit Road Productions. But certainly, you know, I feel he was having a little bit too much of an easy time for it. Just, you know, he kept winning races. So fair play to Ellis. He's really stepped up the game and applying pressure. Ryan Otto, though, don't get me wrong, he's no slouch indeed. He's rated 4,540 IR for a good reason, but that's not stopping him battling with somebody and realistically in another weight class, ladies and gentlemen, almost 8,000 iRate. The only person I can think of very much top of my head who would give him a run for his money would be two drivers actually. Would be Swelio Almeida and indeed Kane Halliburton, ladies and gentlemen, maybe even Connor Belt as well. You know, this is the Titan class, ladies and gentlemen. You mean, you get silver, you get gold. This is platinum, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, well, that was a little bit how you going there from Racine Fazui there. A bit of weaving down the back straight. If I'm not incorrect, you're only supposed to change line once when you're trying to defend a position. So we'll see if that ends up holding up in the steward's room. But regardless, Fazui is staying ahead of Alex Ellis here. And making, Ryan Otto, chasing down Alex Ellis, who is in the blue, red and white satellite car, up in the lead of this race. And Fazui has continued putting down some good times. He hasn't quite been the fastest, though. Ryan Otto was the quickest car on track last time by, and Christian Muniz has the overall fastest lap of the race at a 136.6. These guys haven't been able to get near that pace recently as Fazui goes beyond the track limits once again. Even the best of us have trouble finding rhythm in that SS section of the track. Meanwhile, Zach Buchanan and Assad Nakadenbev, two hard charges, 20 and 28 positions up respectively, and Buchanan is stuck on the inside here as, oh my goodness me, the Lima car behind getting involved with that one. Is that Jesse Lambert who we've seen get involved? Indeed, three-way fight, but it looks like Buchanan and Nakadenbev have dispatched him, and I love this split view. It looks like Assad seems a little bit calmer than Buchanan at this point.
Yeah,
despite the fact that he's under attack. Whoa! Did you see that from Lambert?
Yeah, Lambert's definitely a bit more on the aggressive side, and you know what? Honestly, if you're going to go against any driver with that kind of aggression, I think Assad would be a good one. And I got to admit, that is the first time I've ever seen Assad flash the headlights. How a taste of your own kind of medicine, my friend. As right now, Jesse Lambert is absolutely just turning the screws on the young lad, as indeed the battle is on for the lead. Alex Ellis now under attack from Racine Fazui. Ryan Otto lurking just 0.2 of a second, 0.3 of a second behind. You see there, Fazui up on the curb and right behind Christian Muniz getting in on it. And those guys are literally touching now. There's some lap traffic ahead. This could get very interesting in the battle for the top 5, ladies and gentlemen. There's Clay Morris very much involved as well.
Yeah, that lap car ahead is Ovidio Milos, who unfortunately got a massive whack up the rear early on in the race when he was trying to let the leaders by before. This time, it's at the start of the straight, and so he'll have a bit less drama to deal with there. Lifts out and allows our lead pack to continue. Ellis still oh my God, oh! Jesus Christ, that was Milos going straight off into the stadium section. And, well, that was a little bit of a scare for our leaders. Now they've got to get their heads together again and focus on the exit onto the extremely long front straight at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. 2 laps to go.
Well, what I can tell you is Nakadenbev has managed to make his way past Jesse Lambert again. It looks like Kenton Young and Jacob Attar are going to be playing in that battle as well. We're going to focus on the lead right now as Ellis, Fazui, Otto, Muniz and Morris, all of these guys. It's a 5-car gotcha, ladies and gentlemen, and indeed it looks like the dance is just about to get started, as indeed we're going to be seeing some moves here. But can any of these guys not only get to the lead, but can they make it stick? The competition is absolutely fierce here at the top 5.
Yeah, this is a fantastic fight that we're seeing at the moment, and Ellis is defending like an animal at the moment. But is this going to be the opportunity for Racine Fazui? No. Ellis sort of faking out a defense to the inside there, forcing Fazui to get back online. And now our top 5 are all together. Any of these 5 drivers could take victory from here. They just need to make sure they don't lose too much time running side by side. A little bit more lap traffic is not too far ahead of them. And it's Cara Dudgeon who's running down in 36th place at the moment. Huge defense there from Alex Ellis. Man, he is looking to try and keep this victory for all it's worth, but Fazui gives him a tap up the rear, has to stay behind, door open to the inside, not quite, it's closed very quickly by Ellis.
Honestly, I feel like got like a face-off happening in a hockey rink reason, or indeed a boxing match, it's going to go one of two ways, and I have a feeling there's going to be sparks, there's going to be fire. But right now, it's absolutely incredible battle in there, as I believe that's Kara Dudgeon pulling off to the side. Thank you, Kara, as the 305 hops out of the way, as all of these guys trying to get in the slipstream, trying to get an advantage, and trying to get ahead, as it's been an absolute dogfight here. But I do have to feel, can Alex Ellis work together with his teammate Christian Muniz to try and secure not just one, but two spots on the podium? Racine Bazooey there taking a generous amount of curve. Once again, that looked a little bit too greedy there. Are we going to find it penalised as he's now going side by side, passing off the track, ladies and gentlemen? And Ryan Otto, are we going to see free wide here? Oh my gosh, this is getting intense.
Good Lord, Ryan Otto thought about a move up the inside there, but couldn't do it. Ellis somehow still staying in the lead, and Otto tries around the outside of Bazooey at turn 5. Goodness gracious, look at this fight here as Christian Muniz gets up the inside of Ryan Otto, and Clay Morris ultimately remains at the same spot we first saw him in there. Goodness gracious, what a fight. But it looks like now into the final section of the lap, it is between Alex Ellis and Racine Bazooey. And there's a bit more pace taken to the apex by the championship leader and reigning champion of this series, but Ellis is going to defend this position for all it's worth. Does his teammate Christian Muniz have anything for our reigning champion? Oh no, they make contact, and here comes Alex Ellis again up the inside. Bazooey trying his best to get alongside without contact, and around goes Ryan Otto and Clay Morris. That leaves Alex Ellis to take victory in the feature here in Mexico City. What a final lap!
Bazooey stopped. He stopped and towed before the line.
No, he didn't. He already crossed the finish line, mate.
We're good. It wasn't as far ahead. We're good. But Ryan Otto, I can tell you, has picked up a black flag. But indeed, there was a murder on the dance floor. I gotta say, Sam Baker, when you're looking for a highlight reel of that, just take the last 5 laps.
Yeah,
I'm not entirely which bit was best, but I'm just gonna say all of it. That was absolutely incredible. I got to admit, Christian, could we get a replay of that incident at the end? Because that was
honestly, I'm going to put my hand up and say I think that entire final lap is the move of the race in race 2, because Alex Ellis had so much pressure on him there, and it almost turned into the explosion of the powder keg. I am amazed that our top 2 managed to keep it together through all of that.
Yeah, that was definitely a lot. It was a lot. I'm looking forward to seeing that replay. Don't get me wrong, I'm very much, we've got to try and show as many people as we can in the broadcast. But when you've got racing like that going on, ladies and gentlemen, what do you expect us to do? That was, I think the Mexican GP tracks got it. Don't get me wrong, I cannot speak Mexican, but Vivir es incredible. I can't translate that, but I have a feeling it's incredible, and I'm going to go with that. By all means, feel free to correct me in the chat. Fair play, but that was indeed incredible.
Yes, for the record, they speak Spanish in Mexico. We're going to go through the results for this second race here. Alex Ellis will be celebrating that victory for sure. Either that or breathing a huge sigh of relief, as it's only a quarter of a second between himself and Racine Bazooey for the lead. Christian Muniz and Jamie LeVay 3rd and 4th. Sebastian Day once again taking the AM-Class victory, and for the record, it would appear that he is the only car in the top 25 to only finish in the same position he started in. Clay Morris, Marshall Crocker, Diego Zuccarelli, Zach Buchanan, and Jesse Lambert rounding out your top 10.
Let's have a look there. P11 was the starting car. Had a fantastic battle there with Kenton Young and Lee Jacob Patar as John Bemberley took 14th. Jeff LaRocque in 15th, and Ryan Otto, that black flag, absolutely crucifying him at the end, puts him down into P16. Maxime Armand, he took 17th with Andrew Harbin in 18th, and Cedric O'Hine, Lima Racing leader, ladies and gentlemen, in 19th with Ozzie Mill Wayne, rounding out your top 20.
Yeah, it's a big shame for Otto. Getting a black flag on the final lap is never ideal. Probably exceeded the incident limit there. 21st for Tyler Scarali. 8 positions gained for him. Sammy Hendricks finishing around where he started in 22nd place. Dylan Rennie started from the very back of the field and managed to move his way up to 23rd. An impressive run. Joey Haynes and Stephen Sutherland rounding out your top 25, and that's 20 spots gained for Sutherland. Very impressive there. Pekazin finishes where he started in 26th place, and then we get into lap down territory. Clapham, Payton, Enns, and Covey round out your top 30.
Let's have a look there. In P31, it was Matthew Crimmy with Abhi Shivastar in 32, 32nd even. 33rd was John Payno, who I do believe is a real-life radical driver as well, ladies and gentlemen, with Paul Casamajor in 34th. Cara Judge, and don't get me wrong, she is battling an incredible field, and certainly in the academy she did indeed dominate, but certainly in this field, and today, a little bit of a tougher break for her. The 305 gets 35 as Ovidio Milos takes 36. Alex Tagliani in 37, Keenan Blaze in 38. Rick Boyd, I have a feeling he may indeed be Mark Boyd's father at a rough guess. I would like to know though. He's there in 39 from Wyatt Cormier in 40th.
Indeed, and now we're getting into very difficult race territory. Yanis Maragakis with contact on the formation lap and plenty of chaos thereafter. 7 laps down. Matthew Mailman unable to make it to the finish in 42nd place. Jonathan Etier in 43rd place. Broomhead, unfortunately, had a torrid race and is classified 44th, 13 laps down. Retirements also for Richard Morris, Matt Sobol, and Mark Boyd. So that is going to be your field. Before we get into chatting with our drivers, we're going to have another look at that final lap battle, which we've collectively decided is our move of the race. Just an incredible sequence of driving from all of these guys, Zippy. It was fantastic from start to finish.
Oh, it's absolutely incredible, and this is exactly the kind of racing we want to see here. Don't get me wrong, it didn't end in the favour of Clay Morris or indeed Ryan Otto, but I gotta say, what a fantastic evening, or indeed morning, or indeed afternoon, wherever you may be, but evening for the majority of these drivers of racing. As you see there, Vasim Vazuri looking to apply a good amount of pressure. Ellis there on the defence in that number 40 car, and certainly you can see Christian Muniz come into the mix in just a few short moments there. Ryan Otto, though, applying a good helmet of pressure as Vazuri and indeed Ellis touch wheels there. I can tell you that I messaged Ellis after the race and said, you must be a little bit warm. And he's like, yeah, he is literally dripping sweat. And you can see why, ladies and gentlemen, look at the battling going on. 4-5 for our fight here, all fighting for the lead, as indeed Ryan Otto, fair play to him, gets into it. A little bit of a wiggle there on corner exit. As you see there, almost free wide. Clay Morris trying to get into the mix as well. And indeed backfires. Ryan Otto falls back a couple of positions there. Maniz able to move his way up into P3.
Yes, and from then on, the battle was really between Ellis and Fuzui. But when they get into the stadium section, you'll see things start to really get interesting. Fuzui getting a great run out of the S's, and a big defense once again from Ellis. At this point, Fuzui's trying to carry speed through the apex, but Ellis ran deep, and great timing on the slow-mo, Christian. I am amazed that Alex Ellis was able to hold on to that one and still have the inside line for the final corner. That bit of contact there, I think, is what gave the black flag to Ryan Otto, making contact with Christian Muniz, and around he went, did Clay Morris in the midst of all of that. That was far behind Alex Ellis and Racine Fuzui, who ultimately finished the lap in the same order they started in, but they had to take a long and winding road to get there.
Yeah, definitely a very dramatic race end. But ladies and gentlemen, let's indeed catch up with the winner at that race. It is indeed Alex Ellis driving the number 50 car. I got to say, Alex, what an incredible racer. You were working hard, and I do feel slightly guilty. I kind of called you guys out saying, come on, let's give Razim a run for his money. And you absolutely delivered today. Tell us a little bit about your preparation here for Mexico City.
So, yeah, it was a ton of fun. Wow. What a great race. Great driving by Racim and Christian and everyone else, especially in the top 5. But yeah, it was tough to get up to speed for this one because I was actually away until Monday night. So I had done 5-10 laps I bought the track, downloaded it, and did 5 or 10 laps last week before I went away, and then did some more practice last night and had to learn from the quick guys, but was luckily able to learn quickly and put it together tonight. So it was great.
Well, fair play, Alex. Definitely having to work under a little bit of extra pressure there, but certainly Razim Fazui gave you an incredible run for his money. Such a fantastic battle there, and we did have to wonder as well if Christian Muniz was going to be able to give you a little bit of support there as a teammate as well. Did you guys have any team strategy going on? Did you try and help each other out throughout that race?
Yeah, for sure. So we were actually talking to each other throughout the race. So it was one of those things, like we had to adapt the way we were doing things based on where we were, right? So if we were, let's say, side by side into a break zone, we were very clear to communicate, what we're going to do. And then the other thing was just like, I knew that if I got into a battle with Racine, because he's a little bit faster than me, it would have been advantageous to have other cars involved. So that's why I was really defensive with Racine. And I was also very okay with both of us running slower, because I basically wanted to add more to the mix, because I felt like if it's one-on-one with Racine, he's just so fast, it's hard to beat him. But if there's other people trying to shove it up the inside, it really disrupts his ability to get that extra bit of speed out of the car.
Yeah, certainly. If you can't take him down on your own, bring your friends with you, and fair play to you. Alex Ellis, what an absolutely fantastic drive. But before we let you go, is there anybody you'd like to share out for today's performance?
Yeah, as always, thanks to Satellite Racing. You guys doing a great job with the broadcast, and BIS doing a great job with the series. Radical Canada and FEL for doing. It's really cool. So I have to say, it's really cool when real world motorsport organizations get involved in sim racing, because it is such a good ladder. And the big thing about sim racing is it eliminates the barrier of cost from getting into motorsports. So big shout out to FEL. Radical Canada, and all the real world organizations that are involved in this series, because it really elevates motorsport across the board. And yeah, I'm grateful to see it.
Absolutely, I've got to say, I do indeed echo that as well. And a huge shout out to Lima Racing as well, who will be providing, as you can see there. Alex, you've definitely been getting used to looking at that paint in the sim racing world. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to see it in real life, you have to win the Pro or the AM Championship if you want to have a chance at driving that car. That's certainly the way to go. But Alex Ellis, a huge congratulations to you, and indeed, great to have you back here in the interview booth. Well, go and pop the champagne, so by all means, have some fun.
Yeah, thanks, boys. I need a towel and a beer after that one. It was intense. But yeah, thanks for all that you do, guys.
Well, hopefully by beer he doesn't mean Coors Light, because I'll be honest, that stuff's water. But we're going to boot him out of the booth there before he can indeed contest that. As indeed, who would you like to bring in next there, Reese?
Well, Christian Muniz finishing on the podium in both races, certainly an option, and here he is now. Christian, good results all up for Satellite Racing. Both cars on the podium in both races tonight. You must be happy with how the evening went.
It was an incredible day so far, and with how racecraft was throughout the day, it's such a fun track to race. You know, I mean, the whole last lap battles and everything is to die for.
Yeah, certainly was. You had a front row seat to all of that on the final lap. When the contact happened right in front of you between Alex and Racine, did you think it was over?
With the angle Alex's car was at, I thought there was no way, and I see it snap back forward, and I'm like, oh, all right, guess everything's fine. And try to file in behind him, and then the rest of you guys saw on the stream, unfortunate way to end, but with a double podium for Satellite in both races, it's a good outcome for us.
Yeah, indeed, some fantastic drives happening here at this beautiful circuit today. I believe we're going to Montreal next. It's going to be a track that is familiar territory for a lot of these drivers, but you're going to have to be very careful of those curbs. These cars don't tend to deal well with high curbs like that.
Very much so. It'll be a fine line in getting those extra 1 or 2 tenths to put you on the front row, but it'll be a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to it.
As you should be, as are we up here in the comms box, Christian. Once again, congratulations to you and Alex on the team result, and hopefully we're chatting to you again in 2 weeks' time.
Appreciate it, guys. Take care.
All right, Christian Muniz there, also of Satellite Racing. Zippy, I understand you caught up with Jesse Lambert.
Well, I've got to say, Jesse, that was definitely a big race for you. Able to finish P10 overall. Tell us exactly how you felt about having such incredibly close competition.
Yeah, it was incredible. I'm not gonna lie, I really messed up my qualifying. I had a lot of off tracks. It's still pretty easy to do off tracks at the circuit, but I made my way back up in the first race, Heat 1. So I started, I believe. Oh, and at the end of race 1, I actually ran out of gas, which was really, really unfortunate, but I still made it across the line. Started 15 and made my way up, but it was really exciting. This is my first ever real pro league race. So to finish second in AM is awesome. And I had a great battle the whole race with Assad. The draft at this track is really, really strong.
Yeah, certainly. I have a feeling we're going to be seeing some rivalry between the two of you. Both of you, I'd say, quite aggressive when it comes to trying to make some moves there. So it was indeed very entertaining to see you guys both going at it. And indeed, there was definitely some spicy battles going on as well. But we're heading to Montreal for the next round. How do you feel about that particular venue?
I think it's really, really cool and special. I've been at that track for the past like 4 or 5 years to watch the F1 Grand Prix in person. So it's going to feel really cool to race at that track, even though it's on the sim. And yeah, I'm really excited. I know the track really well, and it's very close to home.
Well, certainly we are indeed looking forward to that. But before we let you go, Jesse, is there anybody you'd like to shout out?
100%. I'd really like to shout out Lima Racing for all the help, Cedric, John, Racine for all the coaching, Radical Canada, Fel Motorsports, and especially everyone watching the live stream right now. I think it's really cool that people watch the stream and help support us, the drivers, and cheer us on. And I also want to thank BIS for making such a cool and radical live stream. It's really, really well done.
Well, certainly fair play to you there, Jesse Lambert. He did indeed get a P4 in class in the first race in the sprint, and a P2 in class in the feature. And I can tell you, having competed in BIS before, that is an absolutely fantastic debut, certainly for round 2 as well. So fair play to you, Jesse. We're going to wish you the best of luck. And indeed, I agree. Shout out Lima Racing, ladies and gentlemen. They are on Instagram. Lima, I think it's Lima_racing_official on Instagram. Now, I don't know how to work Instagram. If it's not an underscore, try a dash. I can handle producing shows, I can handle commentary, but Instagram is above me, ladies and gentlemen. So certainly, Jesse, actually, do you know how to work Instagram?
I actually know how to work Instagram very well. I have a big following, but if you just type in Lima Space Racing in the search bar, for sure you'll find them. Their profile picture is green, and that's it.
There you go. Yeah. There we go.
Thank you
Jesse
very much.
Lambert with the live tech support there for the old man of Pit Road Productions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Also worth pointing out that Lima Racing has been working very nicely with BIS and helping to put together the grand prize for this series, which is a test drive in a real radical race car at the end of the season. Well, Sebastian Day is going to be the final driver to join us, and he's looking in the early stage of the season on course to get that prize in the AM class, winning both races once again in your class, Sebastian. It was a profitable day for you.
Yeah, absolutely. It was kind of I was a bit worried going into this race through the practice sessions. I was just a bit down on pace, but I managed to get together in the qualifying session, and then in race 1, I kind of avoided some of the chaos in front of me and ended up finishing mid-pack in the top 10. So that was great to set me up for the final there.
This track turned out to be quite brutal for a few people. Slipstream was important here, so was performance on the brakes. Were you making many tweaks to the car as you went along? Of course, keeping in mind it is fixed setup. The only thing you can really change is brake bias. Or was it more of a case of you just trying to outdrive the track itself? Because I know how difficult it can be in those S's.
Yeah, these S's are really, really difficult in this car, but kind of just managing the tires, sort of keeping the revs down at some points to save fuel too, and bit higher gear out of the corner to keep the tires to the end in this long race. It was kind of all I did to keep the car fast, and we ended up managing to end up P5 after that crash in the front there.
Yes, altogether, it was about staying out of trouble, and I think that's what's one of the keys to your success as well as the pace, Sebastian. So, congratulations once again on winning both races, keeping up your great momentum going from Silverstone. Hopefully, we'll be seeing you again at Montreal.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Sebastian Day there, winning the AM class by a country mile, you could say, here at round 2 of the Radical Canada Cup Winter Series, presented by BIS. Zippy, I think that is going to bring things to an end for today's broadcast, and I'm very happy with how that one went. We had some great racing all the way through.
I've got to say, Reese, it was an absolute belter today. There was battles throughout, and don't get me wrong, I wish we could show all of them at the same time, ladies and gentlemen. There's just so much going on, but I got to say, incredible battling, incredible rivalries we're seeing start to develop here as well, and some new people making their way up to the podium as well. Indeed, BIS, I think, is probably one of the highest caliber leagues that we do broadcast. Certainly, 3 seasons now? Certainly, it's been a while. It might be 2 years, it might be 3 years. Must be at least 3 seasons, ladies and gentlemen, because I competed a season and then started commentary. Sorry about that. I mean, every race it always delivers. It's never a boring show. And certainly, as well, if you're sitting at home, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and on not just Pit Road Productions, on FEL Motorsports as well. Share this stream with your friends, ladies and gentlemen. We'd love to have you. We will talk to you in the chat. We are happy to have you there in the chat and indeed interact with you. And it adds even more to the show, ladies and gentlemen. But I've got to say, fair play to drivers. A huge thank you to all the sponsors involved as well. Lima Racing, especially, giving you a huge shout out. Obviously, repping the merch, and indeed, Reese repping the beautiful Pit Road Productions hat. I don't even have one of those, ladies and gentlemen, but I got something a little bit better. But indeed, any closing thoughts from yourself, sir?
My closing thought is great race. Bring on a couple of weeks' time, because we are going to be racing at Canada's racing capital, effectively, host of the Canadian Grand Prix, Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. No elevation change to speak of, but it's certainly a challenging circuit, and many of these drivers will be familiar with it. The issue is those brutal slowdowns. You go beyond the track limits here and you will get caned to within an inch of your life. So they're going to have to be keeping a very close eye out on that.
Yeah, certainly the Wall of Champions has indeed claimed a few victims in the past, but hopefully we won't be crowning champions at this round, but indeed we will be seeing some people make it a good run for some championship points. But not only that, if you want to see more of BIS, tune in 1 week's time, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to have the Formula 1600 back, if I'm not mistaken. Don't get me wrong, we tend to be every alternating week. There is a few break weeks in between as well. And if you want to be involved in the F1600s, by all means, Christian, could you put up the QR code at some point for us? We'll have that up on there. Scan there, and even if you can't get in the Radicals this year, we're full, ladies and gentlemen. The 1600 is open, and indeed, we're going to have some 1200s coming soon as well. And not only that, we also have seasons going on through the summer, often an IndyCar season as well. Sadly, we've not been able to borrow an IndyCar for a real-life experience on that. But don't get me wrong, if you know someone who's got one, let us know. We'd love to have a chat with them. But ladies and gentlemen, that's it from us here on Pit Road Productions. My name is Daniel Zippy Salmon, and joining me in the production booth is the one and only Mr. Reese Gardner and Christian Hill, working the production controls. Thank you very much for watching. Indeed, good evening, good morning, and good night, wherever you may be.